are you gonna? That piece of it's so on you.
Several thugs looked to break into this woman's house. This is in Denton, Maryland. And if you were looking very closely, behind you, there was a couple of police officers hanging out there as well. Were they part of this whole thing? Let's find out how the whole thing started.
Because they gave us permission. We did not know that this was we didn't know it was rented by somebody else. We apologize for that. But what I'm asking you is to please leave and not come back like you just said. That is a threat, and I will get you arrested for that. I do not care. I will get you arrested.
Yes, sir.
By somebody else. Just leave.
You're
you
getting
look
the crowd.
stupid. You look stupid. Leave.
Get the crowd up.
You are one trash.
Yeah, what's
Mr.
up?
Secretary of Chosen Sons. You are trash.
What, bro, get it. He's beating on my.
What are you gonna? That piece of it's so on you. Now destruction property. Arrest him. Arrest him. He just broke my door. Arrest him. Arrest him.
He broke my. Yo, I'm calling 911.
I swear to God, arrest him, or I promise you, you will lose your job.
Are you not gonna lock him up? Officer Mayo,
No,
0184.
Stop that recording.
Are you not gonna lock him up for
Stop
just breaking
that.
my door? Look at this, and I'm not gonna cap you.
That's destruction of property.
And they strolled right away, excused themselves as they shifted by the police officers that these folks were begging to do something about this, even before the window, that door was then broken by this guy. We don't have his name, but this incident was over a property dispute somehow, and he was mad about something. Whether he was in the right or wrong with the dispute, he was definitely wrong in the threats, and then, of course, the destruction of this door, as cops just watched. The one thing she made a mistake in saying, though, was, I'm going to get you guys fired over this, as you watch them walk away after destroying my door. Not so much. But the warrant for his arrest, of course, happened later. Not in the moment. But if it was someone else, I think they might have been snatched, thrown to the ground, tased, beaten, and shot before they even got close enough to this woman's door. Here's some details. The Denton Police Department obtained this arrest warrant for Christopher Morgan, he's 38 years old, on charges of second-degree assault, malicious destruction of property, disorderly conduct, and disturbing the peace after he made those threats to residents over there and breaking the window of that door. So this is what the police decided to do for those victims. A short time after, a Denton police officer took the victims to the district court commissioner's office to obtain a peace order prohibiting Morgan from returning to that property as well. The first time apparently was enough for them. But if he wants to show back up again, maybe with some guns or something and finish the job, who knows? We'll figure it out later. The police chief here said he reviewed the conduct of those three cops. Since we're talking about these cops, this is what they said. He says, I've reviewed the officer's body-worn camera footage, and it raises serious questions. That's what it does. About how the call for the service was handled. The response by the officers involved will be investigated, and those findings will be provided to the administrative charging committee. I mean, it's if applicable. It's extremely important that we always take every step available to ensure victims, same stuff. We take all these steps that we didn't take in this particular instance for some reason, but they're not going to talk anything more about it, though, Adrian, until this investigation is complete, AKA when you guys stop bugging us about it.
That's so interesting how, law enforcement is supposed to be there to serve and protect all citizens, but it seems like there was some preferential treatment there in terms of the gentlemen who were harassing that woman. It's just so bad of a look. The fact is that it was clear that that man was putting her in a very awkward and just completely seemingly unlawful position, and yet the officers were backing him up, standing there with him. That's really, really scary. The fact is that they're carrying firearms. The fact is that they seem very much on his side, and they're doing nothing. It's like, what am I paying for as a taxpayer if you are going to act this way? It really goes to the thought of defunding the police, because clearly as an agency and as a body, they're not necessarily doing the jobs that they are employed to do. And so maybe we can find good use for those funds elsewhere.
You with these lefty views of defunding the police.
I'm an extremist.
Next time something happens to your house, what are you going to call the cops, huh? Wish they showed up to go shoot you. Because, again, that's the argument people like to push. And also this two-tier justice system. that only comes from those lefties, namely
And
Donald
the thing
Trump.
is, we're not talking about taking out the police entirely. Like, there are great police officers, and I'm super grateful for a lot of them around there. The fact is that we pour way too much funds in it when we can do a lot of proactive efforts on the front end. Plus, we have to realize that police do not necessarily stop crime, and also the crime, like in terms of clearance rates, are extraordinarily low. The reality is that if we look for things that can do more proactive as opposed to reactive, which isn't even working, then we can help uplift our society. And that's what we should be focused on. And that's where defund the police comes from.
It's almost like they don't care about reducing crime, because that actually helps these same folks get reelected and reelected again, so they can keep saying they're going to do something about it. Oh, we need more folks in prisons because it's only number one for the number of people we have locked up. That's worked out great for us.